Dane, question. What is the greatest hero in Tales of Aria in Draft and Sealed?
That's a ridiculous question.
False. Oldhim. Oldhim has Hammer. Hammer beats Briar. Squid Games. Outcast Haven podcast starts now.
How long did that take you? How long did that take you how many times did you practice that?
That was the first time.
Oh yeah? Good job, dude.
Yeah, I was just like, what? Because I wanted to
set all the words
over.
right.
Yeah, that's what happens. I've been drinking tonight, I think is the problem. So I want to throw this out there. I said this. So if anybody thinks that I've copied other content creators, I said this while we were in Vegas in our hotel room the first time. And I said, Oldhim is the best sealed and draft character in this set. If you play him correctly and use his defense reactions proactively and not reactively, he just is good. And once again, because I think we're going to start the podcast by bragging about our results from the past week, because between the three of us, there wasn't many losses this week.
What do we have total?
Was there?
Total
I think
losses.
Just so I know we had draft on. So Monday I went 3-1. Tuesday 3-0 at draft. Blake went 2-1. His only loss was to me. You went 3-0 the next day, and then Blake again today is 3-1. So we had a good week as a team, Outcast, and we are going to start celebrating our victories.
Because we don't talk enough shit.
Right. But I know Oldhim, everybody been so on Briar, just broken. It's so good. It just wins. It doesn't. You can beat Briar. Now, I can't speak for Lexi. I haven't played her enough in that format. And maybe somebody's got a solution there. I don't currently. But in draft, I mean, I drafted basically the most powerful ice, earth, or lightning card I saw in my opening pack was what I was going to start with. And I ended up taking 4 ice cards to start before the big glacial red came around. And I'm like, well, I'm going Oldhim. So don't get hung up on Briar's Arcane. You can beat Briar's Arcane. All the 3 decks I played were Briars.
Yeah.
I've played a ton of Briars in Sealed now. You have to proactively block the Rosetta Thorn Arcane by fully blocking, and just leaving 1 card in your hand. Usually you can block 3 cards in pitch and still be able to swing for 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think a lot of it depends on Sealed Pool too. Like you can't just say like Briar's the best. Play Briar because Arcane is unstoppable. I think that Briar's probably the most forgiving if you just happen to pull trash. It's like, okay, cool, just non-attacks and attacks will go again. And I'm just gonna start throwing Arcane. Like that's a pretty safe scapegoat. But it's not necessarily that overpowering, overbearing. Like the most complaining I heard was at like our box tournament because the top 8 was 7 Briars and an Oldhim. I'd say that's a little different because you get to basically pick what you want, and Briar has like the best. Like if you can pick what you want, just grab a bunch of effing lightning balls, and if you pull a sting or something, you're golden. But yeah, I think that it depends on your pool. And if you're drafting, like I drafted Oldhim once. It was the first draft ever and had a fucking miserable time because I don't like that deck or that character at all. But I don't think that Briar is like this auto win that everyone, and we've all beat her. And I think that, how many times have you drafted Briar? I've only drafted Briar once. Other than that, it's been Lexi, and I've gone top 4 every draft. Basically,
I did in Vegas. I drafted Briar just to try it.
Yeah,
and I won my first game against Briar, lost my second in a mirror, and then I got sidetracked and started walking around the convention center and forgot about my third game. So I lost.
That guy.
I was like, oh shoot.
I think there's something to be said too for the fact that one of the things people don't think about with Briar is she's better in sealed, I think, than draft a lot of times,
Mhm.
because people forget about the fact that if there's 8 people at the table, we kind of did this. I think we had this talk about at locals. I think I was talking to a couple of the guys, and Adam brought it up, and I think he has the math right on, which is if you're sitting at a table of 8 people drafting, you probably have 5 people who will draft Briar, and then 2 people who will draft Oldhim or Lexi, and then the other one will be whatever character isn't the 2, right? So you'll have 2 on Oldhim, 1 on Lexi, or 2 on Lexi, 1 on Oldhim,
Yep.
and 5 people who try to draft Briar. As a result, typically Briar draft pools tend to get diluted
Weaker,
a lot
yeah.
more. So what ends up happening is she's the most powerful character with the lowest power cumulative draft pool spread amongst players, because 5 people have to share the cards versus 1 or 2. And if only 1 person or 2 people are drafting Oldhim and they're spread out far enough, like their decks are going to be amazing because they're going to get everything they want.
We're directly across from each other, and we both did very well. You were next to me, and I thought it was interesting. I don't know who was in your draft pod.
Yep.
Dane, did you go?
No, Dane wasn't there.
I wasn't at that one.
Yeah. I never saw, like, I didn't see much Earth cards in the first pack. I didn't see them until the second pack. So I pretty much any blue Earth card I just drafted in pack 2. I never saw an Earth Lore Surge. Everybody was taking lightning cards because I probably saw such a minimum amount. I couldn't even tell you, very minimum lightning cards. I don't know if you saw the same thing, but it was interesting that everybody was taking lightning cards right away. Again, but I think that's a mistake. If you overdraft lightning into an Oldhim deck, you're going to lose to fatigue because, and it's not even go to time. You're just going to spend too many cards. He's going to block out, use his defensive reaction ability, which is going to help him stay alive and not fatigue his own deck. And it's going to hurt you going too heavy into one element.
Yeah, it's funny too, because one of the things we talked about afterwards, I was talking to Nick and I mentioned the fact that it's kind of weird to draft when you know the local community. It's like it's like going to locals. When you go to certain locals, you're like, oh, this local is going to be really heavy on X deck, because you just know the player base. So you kind of mentally get yourself ready for certain things. Like in a typical draft strategy, I personally like to play Guardian, and I would have rather played Oldhim, but the draft seating was random, and I was next to Jason.
He knew what I was taking.
And Nick Gabler was in our pod. So like Nick, I knew was going to take him. So Jason was passing to me, and Nick's were going to go around past Jason before they got to me. So my mentality was I can't draft Oldhim because all of like left passing, I'm going to lose 2 people worth of Guardian cards every time around.
Importantly, it's 2 packs to 1 pack. Like if it was going the other direction or you're on the other side,
you'd have a chance.
You're getting 2 packs before either of them.
But the first left killed him.
The first left kills you.
Yeah, first pack left just absolutely
again, that's
killed Blake
information. That's information that you're not going to know when you sit down. So it's a little bit skewed, which is
right. Exactly. When Jason,
because we knew.
When Jason was seated to my right, I was like, okay, this immediately skews my draft strategy, because normally I would take Oldhim. But Jason is to my right. All of the packs will go through him to me. Every blue Earth card and every Earth Lore Surge and every single Glacial Footsteps is stopping at Jason and not going to get to me.
That's a good pilot
this
test.
does not work.
Just be like,
I never asked
I can
Nick
win with the second best Bravo or with the second best Oldhim.
Well,
I never asked Nick. He passed up a shiny Glacial Footsteps in blue. And I forgot to ask him because like I should take this. It's shiny, and by the time it comes around, I get a shiny Glacial Footsteps. I'm like, oh, I know it, and that's illegal. You're not supposed to table talk like that during a draft. But we were having fun and talking trash to everybody.
It's locals, yeah.
Yes, we were having fun.
3 rounds.
Lock it down.
I'm wondering, what did you take, Nick, instead of the shiny Glacial Footsteps? That's blue. It's literally, why wouldn't you take that card playing Oldhim? So you have to tell me what that was, because I forgot to ask, and I'm curious. It had to have been good. It had to have been a big Earth card or I'm guessing a big Earth. Because like I said, I never saw an Earth Lore Surge in all the packs. Not one opened, not one passed to me. 0 Earth Lore Surges.
I will say it is funny because I drafted a couple of them playing Briar, the Earth Lore Surges. I did do a little bit of hate drafting when I started passing right.
That's funny.
Yeah, because
do that.
My mentality was like, if I give Jason a couple of these cards, I'm screwed. Like if I have to play him, and then I lost anyway, but at least it was closer. I think I would have gotten destroyed because I didn't pass him a blue Earthlore. I didn't pass him a red Earthlore. And then
Jesus, yes. Those would have been disgusting.
The first pack I opened to go right in my pack was a Channel Lake Frigid, and I was like, oh God, if he gets this with Oldhim, no, I can't.
Yeah, and you showed me it after that. I'm like, you son of a bitch, not playing it, wasn't giving it to you.
That was like full on hate drafting because the Earthlore Surges, I was like, those can go fine in Briar, right? Like I can play them fine in Briar, not as but I needed to keep them away from Jason. But then I opened a Channel like Frigid and I'm like, I'm committed to Briar, but I'm still not giving this to Jason. Like it's just not, I'm not passing it right.
That'd have been so good. That would have like made my games much easier.
Yes, I figured.
That is insane.
Yeah, I will say if you guys are in a local, not you two, because I know you're local, but if you're watching this and you're in a local that just loves to go like Briar with their lightning balls and shit, I tried the last draft, or not draft, sealed. I tried a counter Briar, knowing that that's what all the Briars are going to do, and I just went super earth heavy and just went for a build that it's like I am hitting you for 12 plus every turn. Don't give a shit. Like Earthlore Surging, I'm invigorating, like whatever I can do. Like I'm going to go second because Briars always want to go first. And it's like I don't care if you hit me for 5 to 6 on your turn 1, I'll block out, I'll draw up, and then you're gonna start dropping cards or you're gonna be at 9 life. And that was my goal, and it worked. Got 4th, I think, with it. Just lost to a lightning Briar. I just didn't see it against, and he had a crazy good turn, dude. He had like the sting ball lightning turn. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, it's a big turn.
Yeah, it's dirty.
So in other news in the Fab community, so this is something that I actually am okay with, and that was the big Rudy video announcement. And I'll tell you why I'm okay with it.
Speaking of Squid Games.
Because of the entry point of the product. 2, it has no bearing on me going to locals, nationals, calling, or anybody else because nothing in it was playable. It is simply a collector's item. The man is what put this game on the map. If anybody should get a simple set for collectors only, that's $1,000 that he's going to make a shit ton of money on, I'm happy for him. He got a lot of people interested in the game. The game's growing. He's been a very big proponent, and I've been very what word am I looking for? Dane, help me up here. Very critical of him.
Fuck if I know.
Yeah, very critical of him. But I think this is a good thing. It's $1,000. Whoever wants to spend $1,000 for these 3 damn cards, go for it.
It's
for hog wild.
It's 5 cards. Don't judge me.
Okay, so $200 a card, that's fine. Maybe they're worth $1 million someday. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. It's a great thing for him. Nobody can bitch or complain about it. If you do bitch or complain about it, you're an idiot. It's collector's cards he can charge whatever he wants. And I love the whole burning of the extra ones after 24 hours.
I think I like
that's hilarious.
I think I like the approach that he's taking more than I like the more than I have put any thought into what the product is or what he's doing with it. I just like how he's doing this. He's like, oh, dude, it's a publicity stunt. Yeah, give me your money. Fuck it. Yeah. So this is funny because the way that he's running this is, I guarantee you there's a ton of people that have the money that are looking to value what the card's going to be at, that are going so back and forth because it comes and goes in waves. Like and this is the last we'll do this. I don't count this as market talk because it's like big, like publicity thing happening.
It's publicity for the game.
Yeah, it's just news.
Regardless if it's for collectors or not, it's publicity for the game.
Yeah. And just like the whole back and forth is really interesting to me because it's like, you're like, I'm not going to invest in this because he's clearly downplaying the value, saying like, oh, no one's going to buy it, hoping that people buy it. But then you think, okay, well, now people are going to buy it because he's downplaying. So if people are going to buy it, then the value will actually be down. So now I'm not going to buy it. But it's like, okay, but now if a lot of people are thinking that they're not going to buy it because they think everyone else is going to buy it, then do I buy? It's like rock, paper, scissors. And I have no fucking idea. I'm excited to see what happens, honestly, just as like an observer.
This is the classic Cartman inheriting money from his great aunt, making an amusement park, buying the amusement park, and then running ads saying you can't come to my amusement park, which then draws people to the amusement park. Then he has to go through, start selling tickets for upkeep to keep people. People are coming in, spending, and then he goes bankrupt. So that, I mean, we'll just have to see what happens in this case. But Cartman, on South Park showed us this strategy once before.
Mm-hmm.
You heard it here first. Rudy's going bankrupt. Jason said it. That's all I got from that. Rudy's going bankrupt. Jason called it. Look,
yeah, that's my call.
The trick with any of this stuff, right, is you make the most asinine predictions and then nobody listens to you. But then when it happens, you get to like replay it and you sound like a genius. Nobody has to know or look back and see that you've done it 6,000 times. They just need to know you did it that one time. That was right.
I think we need to go back through our podcast. I want to do a montage of shit we were calling for getting. And then, like, how Rudy, since we're on the Rudy subject, how he puts the comments up, all the hating comments, like this game is dead.
Hitting
it's not
comments,
like
yeah.
he does it. Yeah. We need to put like video shots of our predictions. Then the bad comments of like, that's horrible. You guys are idiots. And then they came true because they did webcam tournament.
We haven't.
I think it's funny.
We haven't had that much hate, like in the comments.
Oh, dude, we had a ton of hate at the beginning.
Cough, cough, webcam events. Cough, cough, webcam events. Cough,
yeah, I mean,
cough.
we had like 2 or 3 comments like of like that whole.
Oh, we got destroyed.
Videos.
I got destroyed.
Yeah, on like Facebook. Screenshot your Facebook interactions then and send them to me, and I'll throw them up. Yeah, I'll do that. Like I'm talking about our Facebook in our YouTube.
I
comments.
Continue to learn about Facebook. That's a great segue, Dane.
You're welcome.
I have learned from Facebook comments that if I say something, maybe it comes off as mean, but you need to be able to take criticism as a person. If you suck at something and you're getting paid to do it and you just didn't do a very good job, you should be told you just didn't do a very good job, and I'm happy that somebody else is going to do it next time or at this time. It's okay. It's okay to suck at things you do. You learn that you're great at some things and you're not great at others. If you are not extensive knowledge of this game and the way things happen, that happens. Didn't mean to offend anybody. I just like things to have different results. Like
I said,
when we listened to New Zealand do the callings, and it was Kieran, I think, for a bit. There was a bunch of the guys that were on there that were talking. The conversation was, I learned as much from the commentating as I did from the gameplay, right? Yeah. Because the commentating, they knew the game in depthly, and it's the same reason the NFL hires ex-players to be on the broadcast. Tony Romo, for example, he was a good player, right? He's a great commentator. He knows that what they're doing, predicts the next play because he knows the game. It's good to have somebody know the game. Congratulations, Rob.
Yeah. I mean, most importantly, right, he's not surprised. I think the only thing that really bothered me personally, like the thing that stuck out to me was like the surprise factor coming from a commentating booth. Like, I've never heard Tony Romo be like, whoa, what's this defensive alignment that they've got going? I've never seen this before. And it's like, what? You played in the NFL for 10 years. Like, you were a good player. How are you surprised by this? Because I would be genuinely bothered by that. Like if a former pro quarterback was like shocked by a defensive alignment or an offensive alignment, he's like, I've never seen this in all my life. I've never seen anything even remotely close. This is crazy. I'm blown away by this. And it could be feigned, like, right? It could be fake to make it seem more interesting than it is. But I don't think that that's the appropriate thing to like fake shock about, like that you've never seen something before. But that's.
I think it's definitely
I like the people who commentated. I do like the people. I like what they do. I like their content. They're great. They just didn't commentate to a high level, and maybe it's because the New Zealanders did it first and they did it so well that we hold them to another level.
I was gonna say like to sort of like level it out here, like that was such a high precedent set with watching like the New Zealand content coming out, because they have been like their knowledge of the game across the board is so much, like their baseline knowledge is so much higher than ours, like across the board. But I mean that gap is shrinking, but I mean it's still there very obviously, I think. But I will say,
I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
I will say too that I just love the fact that you channeled, I said, with all due respect. You can't just say with all due respect.
With all due
say whatever
that doesn't
you feel
make it better, Ricky. It doesn't make it better. Well, it sure does. I said with all due respect.
It's in the Geneva Convention. Look it up.
So just to put it clear, like those guys, they're cool.
Yeah.
They're fine.
Right.
But watching Rob for do a ton of this already, he knows the game very well because he's played it at a high level. Just is what it is. He's played at a very high level and he's done very successful. So congrats in there. I'll leave it there. Didn't mean to offend anybody. I'm sorry. It's just me being me, and I'll continue to be me. And you can call me an ass because I kind of am. So
no, you are.
Yeah,
call him it.
I think what we've learned is that we should not comment honestly on Facebook. That's the biggest issue. Is what I have found, right, and has been reconfirmed through Facebook interactions, is that on Facebook, you're supposed to be nice to everybody. You should never be honest on Facebook.
Yeah. Well, that hurts people's feelings.
Honest opinions are hate speech on Facebook.
Yeah.
Even if they're opinions.
So next object, and this was, I don't really want to get into the whole thing because we don't have Andrew on, so I'd rather just do it another time with him.
Oh, yeah.
But
bring it up.
I have. So I'm like, you ever saw the DuPont commercials? We don't make a lot of the products you buy, we make them better.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I don't come up with a lot of great ideas on myself. I take kind of something that's there and I put a little spice in it to make it better. So I have a great idea for XP points, which would make XP more valuable and worthwhile. And I want a stacking system of your first win is worth 1, 2. So as you're going through your local armories, your first wins aren't worth as much as your last and later wins are as you go through the rounds, or at a certain point of so many wins per game. And the modifier and how you do that is not me. I'm just saying I would like to see a progressive, like a slot machine, a progressive system where you get more points the better you do throughout a tournament. Instead of just a blanket, you get. So if you're in the calling and you're having the 0-6 battle because you and your other buddy didn't drop, so you guys are 0-6 battling it out, one of you's getting 6 points at the same time, a greater person is. I just want to see a progressive. And I know the person that does better gets more of the 6 points, but you can have a bad local and one guy just tear him up, and just equals out for the rest of the country.
Doesn't that favor? I mean, okay.
That favors scrub like players who like beat noobs, right?
That's what I'm thinking. Is like you want to that definitely favors less powerful metas, like just with like less good players. Like I would fuck
maybe
our meta.
Maybe put a number, like it can't. It's not going to be simple. It has to be. Can't be a 6 or 8 person tournament where you get progressive. I'm talking stuff that we have. Like we get 3 points for a 4th win when we're playing against 20 other people, the same way that somebody gets 3 points for their 4th win when they got 12 at their locals.
So you're not saying by round. You're not saying it progresses by round. You're saying it progresses by wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fucks our meta. Imagine all the people that would just get shitty XP around here that are like really good players that if they were in Joe Schmoesville, Montana, playing with 4 dudes, they'd get their.
That's the level of play we have here. There's enough locals.
I know, and it sucks
area.
because we'd get less XP now. It's like we've got really good players, so we'll get less experience across the board.
I think we all did just fine an XP this week. We'll be fine.
It's because it wasn't your fucking system, Jason. Your shit system.
No, but just think how much more we would have got with a progressive system.
Yeah, I mean, even if it was
or something for winning the event, give you like 8 points for winning the damn event.
LSS seems they need to just shore up the whole 1 XP versus 3 XP thing first. Then we can talk about fancy other stuff. Just make it 3 XP across the board. We'll talk about it with Andrew. We're actually going to have a video with him coming out.
If I would say that if anything, what needs to happen is making it based on size of event versus a static 3 XP.
Yeah, I can buy that.
Yeah, yep. Like instead of even your wins, like if it's only 4 people, it's 1 XP. If it's 8, it can go to 3. Once you break 12, it goes to whatever. It's 2, 1, 2, 3, whatever. I'm okay with that just because it benefits players who play. And again, I know that people are gonna be like, well, I play in a small meta, I can't help it. You're like, I mean, you could invite people, you could encourage the community. I'm just gonna say
I still think just making it 3 XP across the board fixes everything. Everyone shut up. It's fine.
Well, I mean, something
what's wrong with that?
I would like more XP for winning. We're winning event, you should get more XP.
Why? Well, the thing is that then everyone who wins is going to get more XP, so it doesn't there's no XP is this arbitrary. It's just this random number that doesn't Andrew asked us what our locals were doing 1 XP versus 3 XP. None of us knew. I have zero fucking clue what I'm getting for XP.
That's why it came up.
That's why it came up. What I'm saying is it doesn't matter. Who cares? Just make it even across the board.
I will clarify. Tonight was an on-demand event, meaning we got 1 XP modifier.
That's the first time I've heard anyone actually tell me what the XP is for any event in the last 6 months.
I usually only go to places that do 1 event, so I don't know because the places I go to don't run 2 events, so they can just do their armory event.
You've gone to Viral. Viral runs 2.
Yeah, but I only go on their original Sunday days. Or Saturday.
Wednesdays they're
Wednesdays brand new. That's brand new for 2 weeks ago. It's always been Saturdays up until 2 weeks ago. That's brand new for them.
I know I've missed 4, so that's not true, but we'll move on.
I will show you the Facebook post. I was on it and part of it when they asked.
I went into the shop. To talk to B about running it.
That's what I'm saying, because it wasn't run, because they were just doing the Sundays for the longest time. But anyway, I digress. Exciting news.
Cut that part out, yeah.
No, we leave that in. I like the bickering. We can go back and forth. It's fine. Big news. I mean, it's not big. It's big news. Skirmish season number 3. But here's the best part. 2 best parts. One, and here's another thing we said. You're saying we don't say things. We were talking about how CC was so good and everybody's blitz. Nobody wants to play blitz anymore. When's the last time you heard somebody say they want to play blitz?
Yeah, everybody can eat shit about that because I want people in the comments and on Facebook public apologies to us because we called for constructed for so long and we cooked so much shit about that. That was 100% something that people are like, oh, blitz is good. Blitz is shut up.
Nobody wants to play blitz anymore.
Nobody wants to play blitz anymore because constructed is better. I don't care.
And it's better. And it's better because constructed is not the format, right? I mean, yes, there's callings and stuff coming up, but the majority of locals aren't going to callings. That right now, the events that are being run in the skirmish that's coming up is all sealed, right?
Well, it's mixed. So this is the cool part. It's draft, which is even better. That is I think if you're going to do a sealed event, doing draft really is a strong event because then you can't complain which hero. I would like to try. I will try to draft Lexi because everybody passes on her cards. I don't know if I can make something that's great, but I am going to try it just to see.
Lexi's
just because
she's pretty solid
in draft.
Yeah. No, but to my point,
I haven't tried her yet.
Yeah, to my point, what I was saying is that there's nothing except for callings that are pulling people towards CC right now. But if you're not playing in a sealed event or you're not playing in a draft event at locals or something, what are you getting together and playing with people? What are people playing? What are the on-demand tournaments? It's all CC. There's no reason for it other than it's just a fucking better game.
Right. So Skirmish will still have blitz events, but there will be a lot of draft now, which is a great change
I'm really excited
for the Skirmish format.
Yeah, it's just like having the draft as an option too also breaks it up, because when I looked at what we have listed currently right now in the area, we have, I think, 3 draft and 2 blitz, which means you're giving players the opportunity to make a choice between the two versus saying it's all blitz. Because one of the things that definitely happened to us the last skirmish season is we just didn't want to play blitz. Zero interest, but they were all blitz. So like I think I went to 1 skirmish the whole time.
I didn't go to a skirmish.
Just one for me.
1. So we cumulatively went to 2 skirmishes.
I did. I brought Benji in 1. That was early. That's right. I want a fucking meat axe. That was skirmish season, right? That's the skirmish season you're talking about.
What a meat axe! You would have got a command and conquer. You would have got command and conquer play.
Yeah, you would have had a command event. Yeah, if you want a skirmish.
Do you have a command and conquer play, man? That was what first place for those were.
I won.
Then you didn't
I won with Benji.
Then you won just a blitz event. Armory.
Oh. Fair enough. Probably only got 1 XP too. One no.
Yeah.
The best part is I love that they brought back old card art for the playmat. They went with Razor Reflex.
Yeah.
Super spicy. I was like, that is awesome. I love that. That's a cool playmat. Good looking card. So super, super cool that they did that. And then they mix it with some Invigorate, the feisty redhead that Chris likes, and a bunch of rainbow foil young heroes.
No, it's cold foil young heroes, Jason.
Oh, is it cold? I gotta reread it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cold foil young heroes, rainbow foil invigorates, and the mat. 2 of the mat, 33 rainbow foils, and 8 cold foil heroes.
Good. I mean, I don't need a young hero in cold foil, but I'll sure sell one on eBay. Wait, what?
What are you gonna do with a cold foil young hero? You're gonna use it?
I will sell that. That will be sold for sale. eBay. Skirmish. What else is exciting before we come into what is Dallas the week after this? We have Dallas, which the calling whatever. It's cool. Sealed, whatever. Excited to see how well people do. Don't care. Really curious what happens to the ProQuest. That's going to be the first going into nationals. That's the first big, because that should pull 300 to 500 people for the ProQuest for people that scrubbed out from
depending on the size. Do we even have numbers yet at all for Dallas?
No, I mean the cap on all of them.
Dallas has a Dallas Fort Worth is 14.4 million people population.
Yeah.
Those are the only numbers I can give you at this time.
Cool.
I will say that if you look on like the Facebook page, or if you talk to players or see any of the things, there's a really, really good scene in Texas.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's where there's a couple of our listeners that would comment early on. Like Gift of Chaos is Texas, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's basically you got Florida's a big scene, Texas is a big scene. I mean, us here in Minnesota has a big scene. You got a big, pretty decent sized California scene, and then people say they have big scenes elsewhere, but you really don't. You're not as cool as us, so whatever.
Just
but
we don't mind being proven wrong. You can just post pictures or something,
right? Like I tried to start a fight with people of how our scene is good. And like, I don't want to flex. No, brag about your scene. That is how you spread the love for this game.
I remember that comment.
Your community to brag about your scene.
I think I do think that people just don't read us well. On like Facebook is 100% not our platform. That should not be.
Yep.
If we had publicists, they'd be like, "We're deleting your accounts, and we're gonna." It's just not like we're not. We don't hate people. We don't get. We like don't. We're not doing it because we're dicks and we. Honestly, there really isn't. I don't think. I don't think right now in the community there's anybody that I hate. I could say that. And even the people that I disliked what they were doing, because I still watch other content, right? I'm still watching their stuff, and they're not they're growing on me. I'm getting it. I'm kind of trying to look at it from the lens of if people were watching us, would I want them to have a little bit of a moment where they take a second to try to understand where we're coming from. I try to give that back to other content creators, and it's helped me come to terms with a lot of people doing stuff a little differently. Still some shit.
You're
I
a
don't
bigger
like,
man than me.
but whatever.
Yeah. This is what Dane is here for. Dane levels us out.
Well, Dane,
He's-
right
what?
now you're gonna pull up the screenshot I sent of you from your win at Viral and put it up right now. In this picture that you're looking at is how Dane almost got kicked out of Outcast Haven. I just want you to read the shirt, the t-shirt, what it says, and that he was almost evicted, kicked out, banished from the team for being too nice with this fucking pussy ass shirt.
Are you saying Dane almost got sent to the banish zone?
He almost got sent to the banish zone with that
the
shirt.
Fuck up. So
Shirt is
goddamn
trash.
cheesy. Yeah, it's actually a shirt that supports autism because my youngest stepson has autism. But that's okay. That's cool. Whatever.
Right. So that's a great shirt to wear for school, sporting event kids, but not playing flesh and blood with cards. We're
only
supposed to have a little bit
supportive
of edge to
sometimes.
us.
No, I got it. That makes sense. Yeah, I'll take some fatherhood advice from you.
Yeah.
16 years of experience.
30 years
bad,
between
and
us,
ugly.
Dane.
A lot of bad and ugly.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I will. I'll throw the photo up. But yeah,
It's funny. It's funny. It's just us harassing each other. So it's not just other people on
You're such
Facebook.
a
We do it to
dick.
each other,
It's true.
if not more than other people.
oh, we're fucking ruthless
And-
too. There's I love how often we just take breaks from our own chat. Like I know for a fact that Blake is just like, I'm not talking to these fuckers for the rest of today. I'll message them tomorrow. I'm sick of it. Like I know that happens.
That's fair. I've left group chats before and then had to ask to be added back later because sometimes I just need a break from people in the group chats because it gets a little dicey.
My favorite is so we've got a little behind the scenes. We've got like years of experience with group chats from different teams playing different card games and stuff like that. And we've had people leave and then they have just left like our lives. So now whenever someone leaves, I'll add because if you're in the group, you can add them back in, and then just say, you can mute us, bitch. Like you're Stan, you're not leaving the group chat because we're not burning this bridge. Just fucking mute us like a man.
I mean, I did leave one and never returned.
Then we just pulled everyone
Truth
over
leader.
except for the one person that was a problem and kept it rolling.
Well, I just need just three, just the two of you is all. That's the only
and Mark.
collaborating. Yes, and Mark is too busy having his kid wire his new UTV and spending time with his new child and mudding and doing that kind of stuff.
I'll blur out Mark's kid's face just for posterity's sake, but I want to put.
Oh, are you gonna put the picture up?
I'll throw it
Yeah,
up too.
yeah. So this is
what Mark's
picture,
doing.
So this picture with that Dane has just pushed up. So this is Mark's child. We used to know Mark. He started the channel with us a year ago, and then was in
the intro video.
Yes,
Yep.
and then vanished into fatherhood, mudding. He just went full redneck on us. He's redneck.
Busy. Yeah, he takes his son tubing, drinking White Claws, tractor pulls.
I'll throw that up too.
Yeah.
It'll be an homage to Mark.
We miss you, Mark.
Throwing random pictures of Mark. Remember when Mark was on it? Does anybody remember Mark? He was on a ton of them when we started, and he just vanished.
All right. Let's wrap her back into Fab. We should probably wrap her back around.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, maybe. I don't know what else.
So
here's we can talk about.
Here's the question. If we're really interested in the ProQuest and what it's going to be, what do we think is it going to be? Like, what do we think is going to be present at the ProQuest? Is it going to be predominantly old decks? Because that's what people are comfortable with. Someone going to bring something new and spicy? Like,
I think you'll get some Brave Souls bringing spice. But I mean, if I had to make bets, I bet we see decent amount of Chain, decent amount of Prism, decent amount of Bravo. I mean, I imagine that the people trying out spicy new decks are going to be people on like Terra Sunder Bravos, stuff like that. I don't know how many we'll see.
That is spicy. I should put Terra Sunder in my Bravo.
Dude, yeah, right? You heard it here first. No, but I mean, like, as far as people, decks topping that we didn't see top or didn't see like make finals in
Maybe the wild fucking West is what it's going to be.
Yeah, I hope so. That would really be cool to watch. I would be down to see a bunch of just new decks duke it out. That would be super fun. But I don't know if that's what's going to happen.
So the
on
issue,
chat. Oh, one thing. So on chat, so we all have chats with different people, our Australian chats, everything, and we're not in a group chat with this so-called happy man. We'll call him.
We all have individual chats with him.
We each individually have happy man chats, and
we should consolidate that.
He burned a lot of bridges when he said, because I said it would be crazy to see what comes out of this calling or the ProQuest. He goes something to the effect of, well, yeah, since you guys won't have any New Zealand decks to net deck by then. I was like, oh, wow, snap. I said, well, my fucking Oldhim deck's pretty damn good.
Plot twist, we fucking did that already. We totally net decked from Australians, so.
Well, we here's just, because we ran a Kale deck in the calling, which is fine. It's fine. Just smart. But I think it's going to be there's going to be a Lexi in the top 8 for sure. Top 8 for sure. There'll be a Lexi.
So here's my big concern for bringing a new deck is that new decks effectively will exist in the rogue slot because people won't have really good tech for Oldhim, Briar, and Lexi. But Lexi, Briar, and Oldhim have the opportunity to be rogue. Here's my concern is that without any really good data to go on, rogue decks typically thrive when they do something exceptionally well and can build in tech to beat their bad matchups. But does anybody really know what the bad matchups for every single deck are, right? Like, can you say
Bravo
without a doubt
bad deck right now? Bravo's 100% everybody's bad deck.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but the issue is is there anybody out there who's actually put enough work into Lexi deck X or Lexi deck Y, whether it's lightning or ice or whatever? Are there people who have actually put enough? I know people grind. I get it. I understand that. And people are like, yeah, I've totally put in enough work. Like, but do you even know what anybody else's Briar deck looks like? Do you know what their Oldhim decks, or is everybody building decks based on their like little meta? Because we have that conversation around here that there are little pockets of players that play together. And if you only play your buddy's Bravo, then you've only ever built your deck to beat your buddy's Bravo, not everybody's Bravo, not the best Bravos.
Yep.
So it becomes these like mini metas where people are like, yeah, I've got a great, like I've heard people say, yeah, I've got a great matchup into Bravo, and then just get their ass kicked by a Bravo because
that happens a lot.
You know
what I love about like our kind of local scene is we kind of get pockets of people that commit to a deck and all build like their little tweaks, almost like what you saw with like it was Kieran and Jordan that had the Katsu list, right? The Agro Katsu that like they both had like little tweaks on it. But like just how like Nick and Dylan and people were like working on Dorinthia last set. You get these little pockets of people that kind of commit to a certain hero and work on building it and try and get in best deck. And then when you play each other and you giving each other feedback within your own little character pool, people playing that character, and then feedback against like how to play against them. It's like basically we're taking like our little 3-man team concept and we're making it larger to like the scale of the 24. Like I'd say there's like 20 to 24 people that are like around our level of playing regularly and taking the game a little more competitively just throughout the Twin Cities meta. That it's nice to play into them and having different looks. Like we could just go to within our meta and play 3 different Bravos. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or you can play 3 different Dorinthias. You can play, but they're all from the same crew of people that have been working on building a good Dorinthia.
Yeah.
Which I think is really, really cool.
A prime example of the depth of meta too, and that's always the thing, is that people will come obviously with their meta in mind and try to have everybody's meta. But then it's more interesting to me, like we talked about, like you hear Georgia has a good scene, Florida has a good scene, Texas has a good scene, there's one in California, but we have a good scene and we're proud of it. And part of that is the fact that like we can back it up. I went and played at a just in locals tonight. I was just going to play a local on-demand armory, and there were 5 people who went 5-2 at the calling. there were 6 people who have nationals invites. So, like,
yeah, that's kind of lost a little bit of.
Sure, okay.
Yeah, the 5 and 2 calling hasn't though.
No,
Okay,
right.
5 and 2
right.
calling, right?
Yep.
So
I'm
five
with you
people with
there.
the 5 people with the 5 and 2 calling, 6 people who are in the top probably 120 in XP in the country.
Wait a second, Dane. Whoa.
Oh. Dude, I should
You're
not have
saying
gotten.
that
I should not have gotten
9x
it.
Wait, you're saying 9 XP a week doesn't deserve a national invite? Are you fucking ridiculous? That is pure grind for 9 XP. That is 3 wins a week this person is getting to make their invite. And you're just downgrading like they did nothing. They did nothing. Your puny little 9 XP a week.
Is that what it comes out
It
to?
did. I did the math. I did the math.
XP a
It's
week?
9. Actually, it's less, and it's like 8 point something. So it's actually less.
Shit. Yeah,
It's bad.
I'll be honest.
It's actually like 100%. It pulls everything away from the nationals. Like I'm like, oh sweet, I got an invite along with 200 other people who got really low XP.
I'm a big enough man to admit that I should not have gotten. Like I go and I win at like locals and stuff, but like I don't think that I should have gotten a nationals invite for like my. And maybe it's because I do end up playing more than I think. I don't know, but I don't feel like I did anything particularly outstanding. You know what I mean? Like to get that much XP, I guess I did have to because I only played
you
once.
didn't much outstanding either, to be honest.
I know, right? It's like I did only go to like 1, maybe 2 locals a week, so I had to like win those pretty far out, like only 1, maybe 2 losses, but still, I was like, shit, I got an invite. Sorry, guys.
No, it lost a little bit of a luster, but oh well, it'll still be fun. If I doubt I'm going because of damn lacrosse, but it'll still be cool.
Yeah.
When am I getting my hat?
It did make me feel a little bad about the fact that I'm like, I looked at my XP finally and I was like, God, I have like 260 XP. I think I'm definitely gonna make it. And then somebody's like showed me, like somebody sent a list and there's like 200 people and I was like, cool.
Look at you losers trying hard.
Why did I go play at locals if it didn't even matter?
Because it's a game that's fun to play, Blake, and just play for the love of the game.
Oh, the game that's fun to play, Flesh and Blood. They should be throwing their next tease out for their next set pretty soon here. See that amazing segue? Fucking amazing segue. I'll teach you about that after the podcast and how to do those good.
I do think it was made better by
pointing it out.
Acknowledged it. Yeah. I think when you point it out, it's
acknowledge it. That's the whole point of a good segue is to acknowledge the good segue.
Guys, acknowledge my segue.
That's why you do them. Come on, Blake.
Yes.
So, but when are we getting the next set though? Because quarter 4 is Tales of Aria Unlimited. So how far past that do we get the next supplemental?
It's got to be a supplemental at this point, right? Or have we not?
No. It is supplemental. Like they've made a point to
have they announced that?
It's main supplemental. That's the model that they want to go with. They mentioned that a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if that was confirmed. I don't know that they've confirmed that. I would like to hear if anybody knows that. I'd have to look that up.
This is another thing too. I don't. Yeah, it's like I trust that that's right, but I would really love confirmation on a thing. This is a great segue to rules clarifications that get brought up online. And I keep leaving that damn group and I keep having questions and wondering if people are like answering them. So I'll join it again and then I'll read through like the first 10 questions in the comments on it and I'll leave it again. And I don't know why I keep doing it to myself, but it's like, I understand you're not arguing. Like I'm not arguing with you. I get that is probably how it resolves, but I would really love for you to show me and so this one, comment down below with fucking references for the love of God, why, and this is more heated than I mean it to be, but why Ball Lightning shouldn't stack. Show me why Ball Lightning shouldn't stack as a replacement effect. I just want to see that because I couldn't find it. And I'm just really curious where it says that a replacement effect, whatever.
Like 25.2 paragraph 4, subsection 1, 2,
states that the same replacement
48.
effect can't do the same thing to the same stat twice or whatever it is. But it's like the second, It looks to me like it's 2 replacement effects, one from the first ball, one from the second ball. An attack hits, dealing 4 damage. You order it, first replacement effect, second replacement effect. First one changes the 4 to a 5. Then the second one changes it from a 5 to a 6. That's how I read it, and I would love to see why that's not the case. Because a lot of people are telling me it doesn't stack. And I'm
not going to debate why I think it doesn't, because that's worthless to debate on here. And we just want rules clarification was the best way with your cite your references like a good paper, like a good paper.
It's a good brain exercise for people listening this far in.
Just do your goddamn homework and tell us the answer. Anything else that we need to hit on this glorious Friday, October 8th? You know, a couple weeks out from the fall equinox, however you pronounce it in your part of the world. Anything else that we want to discuss?
I don't know if anyone
Fab or other related local breweries. The changing of the leaves in Minnesota.
Do people pronounce equinox different?
I didn't. I wasn't aware.
Just go with it. Just go with it.
I mean, we are, not that far away from multiple callings, right? So
we have, well, pretty much all of them are within a month.
Right.
Am I correct with that? Yeah. All the final 3. I'll be curious for 2022. My life schedule loosens up a lot with not having to do lacrosse tournaments all freaking the next.
You said that. You've been saying that every season.
Because I'm pissed. I really want to go to a calling, but I love watching my son play lacrosse. So it's a very torn issue. I'm going to watch lacrosse because I just want to know when the next calling season starts, when they are, what the dates are, so we can plan ahead. Don't save it for 2 months out. Give people 6 to 8 months. Like here's what we're thinking. You can book things in advance. So just do it so people can plan their lives around it. That's all I'm asking. I mean,
to be fair, 2021 was a little dicey to try and pre-schedule things as the world was
happened.
Finally maybe being free of quarantine for the first time. So, people were they were going with like a gentle like human birth where like there's people catching it, not like the giraffe birth where like they're just like, all right, we're just dropping this thing, we're just gonna hope it lands and it's fine and it doesn't die on the way down. They were trying to be like, okay, let's not be insane about this and just say like in January, no matter what happens, we're doing it at the end of the year and we don't care what happens. And if 10 people show up, cool, because that totally happened at an event that Dragon Ball hosted where they're like, at one of the conventions, they were like, we're hosting a 128-person capped event, a guaranteed 1K, and then 10 people showed up. So it's like, planning it out correctly is probably the appropriate way to do it. And I think this year kind of demanded you correctly plan every event. Probably a little more freedom next year now that they've done it. So,
can I say, on the whole pandemic, there's a show called Sweet Tooth on Netflix where kids turn into animals because of the pandemic, but they don't play cards. So that's the only downside is they're not, but they do talk and they got like antlers and little pig nose. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So pandemic related, hopefully our kids are just going to turn into animals, crazy animals as things go, and it will rid us of this pandemic. 100% had to do with flesh and blood. 100% had to do with getting cards and events.
I'll be honest, you guys both lost me like the last 6 minutes of this. Between Blake's giraffe analogy, I think it was an analogy. I don't know. And
what are you missing on this? You're just not with it tonight. It's you. It's not us. It's you.
Do you not watch Animal Planet? You've never seen a giraffe give birth before?
They got long necks.
I get it. Yeah, no.
Babies just fall on their fucking head from 8 feet out.
You guys can stop. It's good. We're good.
Have you ever seen the Jim Carrey coming out of the rhino?
All right, we're done. Guys, thanks for putting up with us for another week. Appreciate it. Be sure to like and subscribe. Leave your comments down below about the ball lightning and practice. Practice just doing rules checks because a lot of people just spew their shit that they think that they know, and that frustrates me. Anyways, any final thoughts?
What other people think are going to come out of the calling? What's your predictions?
Yep.
I think it's going to have a ton of different decks. it'll be interesting to see what people brew and bring there and the lists that come out of it. So yeah, what do you think is going to be at these ProQuests before Nationals?
Be sure to like and subscribe. We've got some videos coming out. We've got gameplay. I don't know if we have anything scheduled right now, but we've definitely got 2 more in the works. We took some requests on our community posts about what people want to see. So be sure to comment on those and let us know, because we do use that to determine what we test. So we've got those. And then I've got a less meta, less gameplay focused video that I have been in the works now that this set's out, and we've got new art and we've got all the info from this set lore wise. I am ready to push that out. So that's going to be coming in the next week and a half or 2 weeks here. But be sure to hit that bell notification so you get those notifications when those videos go live. And we will talk to y'all soon, I guess. Right? Peace.